Hello, I'm back. I probably gonna need more water. So this morning, whenever I posted that short live with the kindergarten gate being broken, I have on my blog several stories, I guess, of things that had happened after I'd wrote about them and stuff like that, or just like crazy experiences that came up during my healing and learning how to listen, I guess would be the way to put it. So I have a lot of new friends and people who read my blog, so I figured I'd just come up here and instead of having people try to find all of those specific ones, because I wouldn't know when I wrote them anymore, I figured I'd just share a couple of things so that whenever you guys are experiencing them, you will have that awareness that that may be how that works, right? So the door one, I had channeled a message that the door is open to all who see. I wrote a blog about it. Most of my channeled messages are in the form of a blog, and then eventually they became shorter. And then like the people who have been reading the blog from the get-go, if I put down just one sentence, the door is open to all who see, the person who read that original blog as it was coming through, before I even realized they were channeled messages, they would know exactly what I'm talking about. So, but there was always a process to all of these things. Whenever I saw what soul fragmentation is, because people talk about soul fragmentation, right? That the soul is divided into parts and that we are trying to retrieve these fragments to remember who we are. And the way that they gave me the visual for that to write the blog about it was me standing in front of a mirror and there were more mirrors, right? So when you look in the mirror and you have that mirror behind you, you know how your reflection will show your reflection in a reflection, in a reflection, in a reflection, in a reflection. That's how they showed me soul fragmentation. And hi, I can't see who's there, but hello. But whenever they were showing me that vision, that image with the mirrors, it was basically showing me that each reflection within every single one of these eternal mirrors is a piece of my soul. But me standing there, I am still that whole thing. So it's not that we're missing pieces of our soul, it's that they are energetically scattered. Right? We're still together, we're still a whole. We just have to remember by being able to look into the mirror, and the more we go within by looking into the mirror, the more we will see these other parts of ourselves, right? So that was the image that I got, that I had to translate, that we're not looking for pieces of our soul, because, well, that would mean we're not complete, but we are complete. It's a matter of looking deep enough to remember, which is how that whole thing begins anyways. We start to heal. And whenever we start to heal and self-reflect, shadow work, go within, whatever you call it, the more honest we are with ourselves, the more we are able to heal from past trauma and all that stuff. And eventually we reach a point where we start to remember things. It's really scary at first because you're dealing with all your bullshit and you're taking accountability and you are putting yourself in a position where you're not allowing yourself to blame anybody else but you. So yeah, but whenever these messages and images, visions, whatever it is, because they come in differently for everyone. Some people don't have visions, some people don't remember their dreams, you know? So it's just a matter of recognizing the signs that come in for you in the way that they will come in for you. Some people, you know, they will see the same animal over and over again, or the same number over and over again, or they will hear the same word a lot, you know, and then those are the kind of things that'll come in where you got to go, oh, maybe I should be paying a little bit more attention, right? Pay attention to your feelings, to what's going on, your thoughts, and then eventually you kind of start to get a pretty good idea of what the messages are for you. And like I said, it's different for everyone. One of the things that I had experienced besides the door, which that was so funny, like seriously, I came home and my door's wide open and I was like, oh, the door's open to all who see. Funny, right? Loki be doing that. That's that Loki stuff. It's just the energy. So one time I kept seeing the same number. I don't remember what number it was. But then I heard the word revelation. So I was like, okay, let me find out what this is on Google. And I typed in the numbers that I saw and I put in revelation. And then a Bible verse came up about the 4 horsemen, right? Hi, Kevin. This live is actually for you. So you can hear this crazy shit. But yeah, so I typed in the number that I kept seeing. I saw it like 3 times back to back, and I was like, okay, I need to put this in and find out what's going on. And I heard the word revelation, so I typed in the number and revelation, and then what I was reading was the 4 horsemen stuff in the Bible. And I was like, okay, cool. So I'm reading it, and I'm first of all, I'm understanding that, okay, they're all here, right? The story as the horseman goes, they're already here, they've been here. And then I start hearing this weird sound, right? Now, my wall over here, behind this wall, is my daughter's bedroom. Exactly. Yep, that's them. And if you go through my house, like, you have to go out of this hallway here, out of my room through a hallway, into a separate hallway, and then it goes down to my girls' room. So, it's like stupid o'clock at night, because who needs sleep, right? And I keep hearing this weird sound, and I'm like, what the fuck is that sound, right? So I get up, and I'm looking through the house, and I hear the sound is coming from my girls' area. So I go and look. Now, they have these ponies that they can sit on. They have 4 different ponies in 4 different sizes, and 2 of these ponies makes galloping sounds. The sound that I heard coming through the wall was one of those stupid-ass ponies galloping in the middle of the night. Nobody pushed a button because nobody was awake to push it except for me, but I was in my room reading about the 4 horsemen. So as I'm reading from about the 4 horsemen, my kid's horse starts going off in the bedroom, and they have 4 of these horses, right? So I go and I see this, and I can't get the damn thing to turn off. I had to pull the battery out. And I thought that was hilarious because it was confirming that I was on the right track. I was reading what I was supposed to read, and I was understanding what I was reading because I was communicating to them as I was reading it, right? And I was understanding it. So the galloping horse of the 4 horses in my daughter's bedroom was confirmation. They were like, yeah, you got it, right? So pestilence. Altered mutants under the control of apocalypse. I never read that before. That's awesome. I love how everything kind of like fits together like that. But yeah, so then I had a horse sound to confirm that I was on the right track. Hi, Yolanda. Yeah, you should read Revelation. That's why I told you should read it, because I had the craziest experiences when I started to read the Bible. And it wasn't that I just sat down and opened the Bible and was like, let me read the Bible. No, it was I would find a number or hear a word, and you know how we pick up these signs and symbols, and I was like, okay, so I should look it up. And that was also how I found out that my blog actually correlates with the book of Matthew and the lessons that Jesus taught. I didn't realize that until I was actually divinely guided to read. Bye, Kevin. So, hi. What time is it over there, Yolanda? But yeah, so that's how that one came. And then there was like, we had a pool out here in the summer that we had put up, and we were just, doing stuff, and I was having those floaty feels and shifting. Yeah, no. You gotta read it. They're teaching you stuff. You're gonna see stuff. That's why. But I was outside, and I was drinking a lot of water, right? Because whenever we start to channel messages and stuff, and we have these shifts, we get really, really spirit hours. 3 a.m. Makes sense. So I was like super floaty, getting a lot of messages, doing a lot of lives. I think this is actually when I first started doing the lives, and it was funny how they made that happen too. So like they fucked with my technology to make sure I had to go live. But I was constantly getting this whole message about like Jesus walking on water, right? And I was like, I'm not gonna walk on water. I'm not gonna walk on water. And I had this discussion with them for a couple days. And then I was in the shower, and as I'm in the shower, I stomped my feet, and it wasn't like I wasn't even thinking. I just started to stomp my feet in the shower, and then I was like, oh, I'm walking on water, right? Because there's a puddle of water in the shower. So I'm walking on water and I start laughing my ass off because I'm like, oh my God, I get it. And that's when I got the message that water is a conduit of energy because we are mainly water, right? Energy is energy. Conduit. So being in the water, that's like a direct phone line to the divine, to the universe, God, goddess, mother, father, whatever you call it. So that's how I got that message, right? A lot of these messages come in or get confirmed through an experience that usually makes me laugh because the universe has an amazing sense of humor. I'm like, dude, seriously? Like, that's really funny. I'm reading about the 4 horsemen and a horse is galloping in my hallway. I'm thinking about walking on water, and then I realize in the shower I'm walking on water, and I get that message. I say the door is open, dog. See, they leave my damn door open, or they open it. I don't know how it opened. I really don't. I was not here. So stuff like that. I don't really want to get into the dreams right now because that's a lot. But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. I had a weird dream last night. They were unblocking something in this area again. But I don't think that they were unblocking it for me. I think it was to unblock somebody else. Does that make sense to you, Yolanda? I think my energy and someone else's energy are working together in a way to help that specific person release specific blocks. And I think I'm helping on the astral plane. Kind of like whenever you're doing meditations on chakras and then I have a weird ass chakra experience at night. That's basically what I think is happening. Just that instead of you releasing my blocks, I'm releasing someone else's. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. It was a weird ass dream. Like, I was looking in the mirror brushing my hair, and then I was brushing my teeth, and then like my nose started to bleed, but it was black. Like, it was pitch black blood coming out of my nose, and I was just like, oh, that's weird. Right? Like, it was really weird. The last time I had a nose dream, it was when they were pulling blood clots out of my sinuses and my ears, which was releasing a block that I had after I had a crash. And I was like, I'm gonna need this unblocked, and that's how they did that. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, the confirmations and stuff. One time I wrote about, yeah, that's what I thought it was. Something. Because the person that I think that I'm helping on the astral plane right now, well, I know I am, because they're confirming it, but it's karmic debts ancestors, but this is like home base level. Yeah, so he's from the home base, and on a vessel level, he's got blocks, and I think that my energy and his energy coming together here recently is going to help release those blocks. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I had that one thing where I wrote that the people would erupt with emotion. Oh, I wrote the people were shook to their cores and erupted with emotion. That was what I wrote. And I wrote that because I got a vision. And I did not want to put the vision down exactly as I saw it because I knew that there was levels and layers and dimensions to it. So it wasn't just a vision about something that's going to happen on the 3D Gaia realm thing, but also within all the people, right? So I wrote it in a very specific way. Hi, Amir. And what I wrote was, the people were shook to the core and erupted with emotion. Keywords are shook and eruptions for this vision that I had. Now, the next day after I posted this, when I was in the shower, I had an eruption of emotion. I started crying, no reason. I just bawled my eyes out, right? And it kind of was an all day long thing where I would all of a sudden just start crying. I would all of a sudden erupt with emotion. And I would get like really shaky. My body would shake and I would be crying. And I was like, oh, cool. Yesterday I wrote the people were shook to their core and erupted with emotion, and today my body is shaking. I am shaken to the core and erupting with emotion. I am crying, and it was going on and off all day. I cried like 6 or 7 times that day. So that was another confirmation showing me that the vision I had and the way I translated it was indeed true, right? Because then I got to experience it. when I wrote about destruction coming in, is it February? I think I wrote about destruction coming. I had already experienced the emotions involved with the upcoming destruction that I saw. So whenever it actually did happen, my emotions, it's like, it's not that I didn't care, it's that I had a different level of awareness because I already had experienced it in my head at a physical level. And then whenever the thing started to happen, I was just like, oh, well, I've already seen this stuff in a certain way, and I've already experienced it emotionally and processed it, so that whenever it did happen, it didn't it didn't cause a clash in my brain. It didn't cause a major crazy reaction. Of course, there's always things that would still come up and trigger me, and I worked through them on the blog, on my Facebook, so people can see how I did it. The pedophile thing, that was a big one for me. The Save the Children, that was a big one. Mainly because I've been having dreams and visions about these children all my life, and I always thought I was crazy, you know. So on some kind of level, anything that I wrote happened, and I would always get confirmation. There was a day where I got a very specific message and I didn't know what it meant, and they were just like, put it on Facebook. So I wrote, "This union is blessed by the dead, ring any bells." And somebody wrote, yeah, holy shit, right? She said that it was her anniversary and that she had made a new bell that she rang for her ancestors, and she lives on Union Road. So that was immediate confirmation. That didn't even take a day or a week, or that was immediate confirmation, because as soon as I posted it, not even 10 minutes later, I got a response. And that was a very detailed message. Union, ancestors, ring any bells. I didn't know what I was saying, but what I was supposed to learn out of that specific experience was that I need to trust my intuition. That I need to have faith in what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, because I'm not crazy. Right? I'm not crazy. We are not crazy. We are experiencing these things and learning how to listen and learning how to understand and be aware of the signs and the symbolisms and the messages coming through, because if we learn to understand the little messages, we will learn to understand the bigger ones for when they come in. You know? That was weird. Noah, when he built the ark, he probably had a lot of experiences like a lot of us are having, these smaller experiences, before he got that big message to, hey, you should build this ark, right? And if he had not have gotten through the other things that he probably went through to get to that point of understanding and awareness and being able to acknowledge and translate the messages coming through, he probably would have not have built that ark. Right? It's a process. We don't just wake up one day and we're like, oh, 100% steadfast in my belief, I have all the faith in the world. No, that's not how that works. Not when you're doing it the way we're meant to do it. Right? Because we all have a different way of finding God, the universe, whatever, right? Ourselves. We all have a different way of doing it. It doesn't matter what the spiritual path is or the religious path or your dietary thing, or if you get into it through research and just questioning things, or whatever the way is, you know, it all leads to the same goal. But we're all going to be experiencing things to raise our awareness, to show that we are going to get confirmation for the things that we are saying, doing, feeling, experiencing, because we are human beings. And as human beings, the vessel, the brain, the mind cannot comprehend things without a visual. We need that visual. So I could write all of these things all year long, and I could have been like, yeah, cool, that's what it is. But the reason I kept doing what I did, the reason I'm so steadfast in my belief and have so much faith in myself and my ability to translate for you guys, is because I had all of those experiences to back up what I was thinking or feeling or seeing. There's always something to back you up. There's always proof. Even if it's not there for the others to see, it's there for you to see. And that's why that's really important, to raise that awareness and to pay attention and listen, right? I'm not saying listen to God. I'm saying listen to yourself, because that little voice inside your head, your intuition, that's God, right? It's just that we are not aware of that until, you know, later on. at some point, and then that awareness brings a level of comfort and peace as well, because we know that we're never alone. We know that this is not home. It is now, but it's not. So when people go around and they're scared and fearful of things that are going to happen, or things that they think are happening, or they're focusing on money and career and just all of this stuff that we need to sustain a comfortable physical life, we get to a point where we realize that none of that really matters, because we're only here temporarily. And when we start to remember and experience where we came from, sometimes it's really hard to not just be like, let me just go home now. Like, why can't I just go home now, right? And then there's moments where it's like, yeah, no, I'm not ready to go. Like, we came here for a reason. So it's really fun. And you know, some people, they'll see, like, for me, for instance, a feather. If I have a feather in my path, I know that I'm in a good space. It's there to make me aware of something or a message. Last time I found that one feather when I was walking, because I got somebody's mail in my mailbox, and it was weird because, like, we have the same last name, but the house number is not, no numbers in common, and it's on the other side of town. So I had to go for that little walk. And when I walk, when I'm out walking, I get, like, into channeling mode, because I go into Zen, into that Zen state, which I also get into in the shower or driving, which I'm in right now, honestly, because I'm full on channeling. I don't know who can see energy, but for those who can actually visually see energy, they will be able to see that I'm channeling. But yeah, so I found that feather, and then they gave me the visual of my light body placing feathers and other things in certain areas. And then I understood that all these synchronicities and things that we align with throughout our life, all those synchronicities have already been put in place, right? It's not like I'm going to make a choice and then it's like, okay, the universe is going to put a feather there because I'm on the right path. No, the universe already put the feather there, and they also put a feather over there. And depending on the choice I make, I'm going to become aware of whatever thing has been put into place there. So maybe if I chose a different path, I wouldn't have become aware of a feather. Maybe I would have seen a number in the same area. You know what I mean? So all of those things are already in place to fit any possible scenario or outcome or choice. All the possibilities have already been put into place with all the synchronicities there, and the level of awareness is where we can see the synchronicities, depending on which ones they are. So what I'm learning is, and it's hard to explain, it's one of those mind thingies where the brain is like trying to break, but it won't. It won't. It hasn't yet, so I know it won't. I'm too far in for it to break now. But basically what I'm figuring out is that if there's one symbol or sign in place in one specific area to show me this is where you're at, then I know that there's more, and I'm trying to find the others so that I can see more. And I don't know how else to put this right now, but the people who have already been able to access multiple timelines at once in the visual or the dream space, however you're picking up on those things, when you experience multiple timelines and you see where they shift, basically what I'm trying to figure out, which is why they showed me this, is how to see every timeline of the now as a now timeline. I don't know how else to put it. But yeah, so that really hurts my head. Literally, like, physically hurts my head. So yeah, figuring that out. Figuring out how to see all the nows simultaneously. Because seeing the past now and the future now, those are pretty easy at this point. But to see all the nows, it's different. Especially once we figure those out, we can, you know, base our choice on instead of making a choice and then seeing the thing, I would see all of the things and then make my choice based on all of the information coming in, right? So, I don't know. When it happens, I'll know and I will explain it, just like I explain everything else. And if I sound crazy, well, so be it, right? There's plenty of you guys who know that I'm not crazy because you either experiencing it yourself or you have witnessed some crazy shit with me or around me. Yeah. Yeah, that's really all. I just wanted to show some examples of how that works. The awareness, and the synchronicities and the signs, just how the universe works. It's really cool. Oh, another one that I had was also when this was a specific time where they were guiding me to read specific things in the Bible, just to show me that the Bible, how it was written. It was written in a way where it was showing the current situation, the past situation, and the future. That's how it was written, to show all of those things at once simultaneously. Right? Those timelines, yeah. But everything's cycles, or spirals, actually. Or as Kevin said, that infinity symbol. Everything repeats over and over and over again with a different storyline. Just like everybody, can watch the same movie but have a different perception. Same story, different way of looking at it. So, I was reading, again, I was led to a number, heard the word Revelation. When it first started out, it would be the book of Matthew that they would have me look into. I heard Revelation, looked it up, and I could not understand what I was reading. And then I heard the word comets, and I said, okay, comets, cool. And then I was like, oh, hold up, let me look up comets. Now, before I got this information, I got the information that the false prophet that they speak of in Revelation is actually the media. The mainstream media is the false prophet. So, in the book of Revelation, it was saying that fire will rain from the sky. The false prophet will talk about fire raining from the sky, something. And when I looked it up, I don't remember which month this was, but I looked up comets for the month of whatever month it was, and there was a website showing that there's going to be that meteor shower that came this summer that would be visible. And I was like, okay, cool. So I saw that in the Bible, and I looked it up, and there was confirmation that this is about to happen. And then later on in that month, mainstream media, the false prophet, was showing, hey, look, meteors, blah, 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 comets, meteor shower, da da da, whatever, right? They're the same thing, I think, right? So that was again showing me how the Bible itself was written to accommodate multiple timelines at once. And that cycle that's in the Bible, it began before they actually, documented it in the Bible. We have all these much, much older historical documents that show the same thing. Fucking, what's his name? I don't know how to pronounce it. Thoth? Tablet? Thoth? However you pronounce it, right? That Egyptian one. That tablet, it's just a different perception of Revelation. It's got all the same stuff in there, though. So all of that information has already been out there because the cycles have been repeating themselves over and over and over and over again. This is not the first Revelation. It's not going to be the first Genesis whenever we get through this Revelation period that has begun. So yeah, people who are reading spiritual stuff or religious books, read all of them if you're going to do that. You don't have to read like every single bit, but it only takes a couple of minutes, to find out how things correlate and how they line up to tell the same overall story. Science, spirituality, religion, they all go together. My phone's blowing up. Can y'all hear that? So yeah, if you find something pertaining to chakras, if you look up the chakras in correlation with the planet, and then you find out what planet represents what god in the Christian or the Norse or the Greek, whatever, right? And then you can go from there. The sun is Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael is Thor. Blah, 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 blah. Also Ra, right? That was the sun god in Egypt. So they're all connected because they're all the same energetically. And that's what makes it really, really cool, because you're like, what? So that's how we figure out also, in a way that the mind can comprehend, that's what that oneness is. Hi. So we can do the research and it'll all come together. Science, spirituality, religion, it all fits together. We just have to have an open mind, because something that a lot of people do is they get stuck on just their belief, and then they try to Mother Mary and Goddess Isis, they try to push their beliefs on other people because, well, pride, right? But also fear. Because if I'm steadfast in my belief, and you recognize Mary as Joan of Arc too? I did too. That's awesome. If we are steadfast in our belief and somebody else comes in and wants to share their belief, we're not going to have a problem with hearing it, right? Because we're steadfast in our belief. Now, if I don't want to hear somebody else's beliefs, it's because on some level I'm afraid that they might convince me I'm wrong. I'm too proud or too scared of the repercussions, right? Because depending on your belief, if your beliefs are fearful, then not believing what you believe is going to have a not very happy outcome for you, or at least that's what you believe. But if we are open-minded, an open mind is an open heart, right? We are open-minded, we are allowing ourselves to receive all different information and stuff. It opens up our heart, not just to, knowledge, but to acceptance. And through acceptance, that's just another step, up the ladder to Christ consciousness. So, my dad is one of the people who does not want to hear any other religion than the one he believes in. So if I ever try to have a discussion with him in college once, I wanted to discuss, I think, Hinduism or Buddhism. I wanted to just bring something up because I thought it was cool. He wasn't having it. He was not having it. He was like, no. And he went straight down Christian Bible thumping stuff right away. Like, he would not even listen. And I was like, I'm not trying to convert you to a different religion. Like, I just want to talk about the possibility of reincarnation and karma. And he was not even having it. But if you read the Bible and you learn how to see through the different levels, layers, and dimensions of the Bible, you will see that it has reincarnation and karma in it. It's just a different perception and different words. So yeah, like, if we're steadfast in our belief, we don't have a problem hearing somebody else's. Just like with politics, right? If you are steadfast in your belief that one is better than the other, and somebody else comes in and says, no, I don't believe that because this and this and this and this guy's better than your guy. But if you're steadfast in your vote and your belief, then you're not going to care what they say about the other guy. You'll listen. You'll accept what they have to say. Whether it becomes your truth or not is entirely up to you. But it doesn't mean we have to be aggressive or mean or hateful, right? We don't have to do that. That's a choice that people make, to be hateful towards people, to cause more division, right? I'm going to separate myself from friends because they believe that somebody else is better than what I think is what? No, that's stupid. I'll give that to ego. That's stupid, right? To cause a divide over something like that, no. That's where humanity messed up from the get-go, was to cause a divide. And the people who continue to cause this division amongst the collective, they are completely aware of what happens if the collective unites. That's why they keep that division. My mom sent me this YouTube video this morning from NBC News. I don't watch the news. We don't have NBC in Germany. At least I don't think we do. I don't watch cable TV. Yesterday I watched 2 Halloween movies. I watched Halloween Town because makes my inner child happy. But I watched the first two. Kind of. They were like on, and I was, Facebook and talking to people. But I watched them, right? So, but I don't watch a lot of stuff anymore. And I definitely don't pay attention to the mainstream media. I will look up information as I have visions or dreams or something will pop up, and I'll, give it a look just to kind of be aware of what's going on. But I don't believe in everything I see. But my mom sends me this YouTube link, and I posted it, and I'm watching just the introduction. I don't know how long the video actually went. I watched the introduction, and dude started talking, and I was laughing so fucking hard. I was just like, I can't even, right? And it's not that I don't think it's messed up what's happening in America. Of course it is. My entire fucking family's there, all but a couple people. All my friends are there. The people I went to college with, the people that I speak to every day, most of them are in America. So, as a human being who has lived there and has family and friends there, I understand that it's a very scary experience over there. But from a higher perspective, I understand that it has to happen. But when I watched this YouTube clip that my mom sent me, I was laughing because every single thing in the introduction was like scary and fearful type of stuff. And I was like, man, y'all need to get a grip over there. It's not that scary. If we choose to perceive things as bad and scary, then they will be bad and scary. If we choose to perceive them as things that have to happen for a reason, a lesson, a blessing, or a purpose, then we will understand that it's not really that scary. Because the worst things that can happen to us here probably already have happened to most of us. Right? People are worried about getting sick and dying. We all know death comes. And those who know where they get to go, they ain't really worried about it, right? No matter what your belief is, if you're steadfast in your belief and you think you're going to go to a better place, you're going to go to a better place. And even if you don't think you're going to go to a better place, you're still going to go to a better place. So it doesn't matter what you believe, because the soul goes where the soul came from, which is a better place, right? So the point is to be steadfast in your belief and in your faith and in love. It's my alarm. So it ain't that scary. It's not that serious, life. Don't watch the news, for the love of God. You guys are just torturing yourselves doing that. I can't see who that is watching, but hello. So yeah, I'm gonna get off of here because that was my alarm. I got stuff to do. Kids are gonna be home soon, or at least one of them. But yeah, that's it. Alright, I love you. Bye.